From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, Fairbanks Mayor John Eberhart issued his declaration of disaster for the city today, just on the heels of Governor Sean Parnell and Borough Mayor Luke Hopkins' declarations yesterday.
News Center 11's Nikki Carvajal takes a look at what it all means for Interior residents.
With an estimated 400 GVEA members still out of power and temperatures continuing to drop, the extent of the damage caused by last week's winter storm still remains to be seen.
And the issue is that it's what we don't know of also, and homes that may not have auxiliary power, they're starting to get coal soaked and pipes could be freezing. So there's going to be damage that we're expecting.
Borough Mayor Luke Hopkins told the News Center late last week that he didn't think a disaster declaration would be necessary due to the quick response of local officials and GVEA after the storm. However, the state is looking beyond that and into supporting recovery efforts for residents and responding organizations.
And that's exactly what the governor's declaration is, to assist those affected areas, to assess what's broken, assess the damages to critical infrastructure, and then assess the damages to the homeowners as they're associated with this storm.
And while many have asked what took so long for the official declarations, the governor says that's to be expected.
The mayors do exactly what your mayors have done, in that they work with the community members within the resources they have, and it's only when those resources are exhausted or expended that they ask for additional help. That's where we are today, and the partnership has been real strong and good since the storm, and will continue to be.
In the meantime, residents still stuck in the dark can contact the American Red Cross for assistance.
We have power outage information and winter storm information that we can give out. If people are in need of showers, then all of the borough swimming pools, Westcott, Mary Cy, and Hammy, if you tell them that you are still having a power outage or are without electricity, they will provide you with a shower for free. If you need any other type of sheltering, please give us a call. Again, that number is 451-8267, and we can talk about sheltering needs and what we're able to provide for you.
Nikki Carvajal, News Center 11.
A New Lotto woman has pled not guilty to felony arson charges after attempting to light her holding cell on fire. 56-year-old Ellen Stickman is in jail tonight on multiple charges after being arrested in New Lotto. Stickman was arrested on suspicion of DUI after wrecking her ATV in New Lotto. She initially resisted arrest, and a long struggle with the officer ensued. When Stickman was finally in custody, she asked for a spit cup for her chewing tobacco, but the officer did not want to give her a ceramic mug that she could potentially throw after she had already assaulted him. When he refused, she threatened to burn the building down. The officer then realized he had seen a lighter on her earlier and checked her in her holding cell, where he found her trying to light the wall on fire and several scorch marks. Trial is set to begin in the case in February.
Alaska State Troopers and the statewide Drug Enforcement Unit have seized over 100 marijuana plants at a North Pole residence. According to a release, the Fairbanks Patrol attempted a traffic stop on a vehicle in North Pole when a vehicle pursuit ensued. The two unnamed occupants fled by foot to a residence. Troopers followed their footprints and discovered a marijuana grow at the residence. A search warrant was issued, and the statewide Drug Enforcement Unit secured the premises and also seized 152 marijuana plants, 1 pound of processed marijuana, and $1,315 in cash. Now, a suspect has been arrested but not yet identified. Troopers say charges will be filed.
A Nenana woman is charged with assault and evidence tampering after reportedly stabbing her boyfriend. 25-year-old Carrie Burke stands charged of second-degree assault as well as evidence tampering in connection with the stabbing. According to a criminal complaint, witnesses at the scene say they saw Burke stab her 32-year-old boyfriend with a knife that she then hid in the bathroom vent. She denied the claim, saying that she was sleeping, and when she awoke, her boyfriend was already bleeding from a stab wound. Troopers say she was intoxicated when the assault occurred. Burke's boyfriend was taken to Fairbanks Memorial Hospital for treatment. She was arraigned in Fairbanks District Court on November 14th. Hearing for her case is scheduled for November 22nd.
The state of Alaska is looking at a possible multi-billion-dollar equity stake in a project to build a natural gas pipeline. The idea comes from a report commissioned by the state to see how Alaska could protect its royalty interest and also ensure it receives maximum value for its natural gas. Natural Resources Commissioner Joe Balash said that Governor Sean Parnell supports an equity stake of 20 to 30% of the total cost. One projection estimates the project costing $45 billion, which means the state could pay between $9 and $13 billion. Buy-in would be necessary from the legislature.
Another open house on interior air quality issues will be held tomorrow. According to the state website, DEC proposed regulations would allow existing wood stoves to stay without regulation. Emission standards would apply only to new wood stove and boiler purchases. The proposal also adds flexibility in addressing wood smoke on days with unhealthy air quality and recognizes that 60 to 80% of the PM 2.5 pollution comes from solid fuel home heating. The next open house on the issue is tomorrow, Wednesday, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Watershed School, located at 4975 Decathlon Avenue.
Today, EPA released a new proposed rule that would establish deadlines for submittal of our air quality plan. And the new deadline would be December 31st, 2014. So if this rule passes, we are no longer late in submitting our SIP. And that's good news for us. It's about out for 30-day comment, and then EPA will act on finalizing it based on those comments they receive. It's really important to get their comments in on these regulations. It's part of the process.
Comments can also be mailed, faxed, or emailed. For more information, including a direct link to the relevant portion of the state website, visit our website at webcenter11.com.
When we come back, we have some information on getting your vehicles ready for the winter.
Also, UAF students are staying out in the cold for a good cause. We'll have more on that. Stay with us.
And welcome back. Now, the skies are clearing, which can mean only one thing: colder temperatures are at our doorstep. Being sure your car is ready for the cold is vital. Here's News Center 11's Mike Schultz with more.
We've dodged the cold for a while, but now it's time to make sure your car is ready for the upcoming frigid temperatures over the next couple of days. Here's a guy who can give you some advice on just exactly what you'll need.
Well, we are looking at some cold temperatures that are coming up here in the next few days. So, winterizing your vehicle is very important. So what we have here is a typical winterization package. We have an engine heater, two different kinds. This is a cartridge one. This would be one that just goes into the cooling system. And then we have the two heater pads, one that's going to go on the oil pan heater, the oil pan, and one that's going to go on the transmission pan. And then they all get tied into one three-way cord, so you're only plugging one cord in. This particular one goes into a cartridge, which would be like a cavity in the engine block, and it's what basically heats up the engine block. Same concept here, only this one goes into the cooling system and pretty much heats up the coolant in the engine. Each one of these would be glued with silicone to the bottom of the oil pan and the transmission pan, and heats up those two.
The main factor is the oil and transmission oil and the role they play.
The liquid in both the transmission and the oil pan can get very, very thick. You start that engine without those two being warm, that pump works really hard and the engine can suffer damage.
Well, that's not going to be cheap, but as the man says, you can pay me now or you can pay me a lot more later.
Between $350 and $400 for most vehicles.
Mike Schultz, News Center 11.
Tomorrow night, Mike will tell us about what precautions you need to protect your pets from the frigid temperatures.
UAF honor students want to raise awareness about homelessness in Fairbanks, and they do something unusual each year. During National Homeless and Hunger Awareness Week, they camp outside if it's above -30 degrees. Now, so far, they've camped out every night since Saturday. Their week-long demonstration gives them a chance to raise food and money for the new student food pantry, and they're also collecting used clothing for the Street Outreach and Advocacy program. Donations can be given to the students, who will be next to the Rasmussen Library until Sunday.
Fairbanks actually has an astonishing amount of homelessness, and a surprising number of students are homeless themselves and live out of their cars and such. And it's Fairbanks is not necessarily an easy place to be outside, even if you're not homeless, and so it's something that really more attention needs to be brought to.
The Fairbanks Surgery Center is making a huge effort to make their smallest patients a little bit more comfortable. News Center 11's Nikki Carvajal has more in this week's health report.
Surgery can be a frightening experience for anyone, especially children. But at the Surgery Center of Fairbanks, they're trying to make the experience into something that kids can actually look forward to.
And by following the moose's tracks to his castle of dreams, we wanted it to make an experience to distract the children from the procedure at hand, because under normal circumstances, children come into the operating room, there's a lot of anxiety, they're crying, they're upset, the parents are upset, and it just is it's not a settling experience for them.
The artist behind the project says it's something that hit home with her while she was working on it.
In June, my daughter had to go in for surgery, but she had to go into the hospital, so I was wishing she could be here. But I could see how it would make a huge difference, because just the scary surroundings and nothing familiar to them. So I've heard that it's been awesome for the kids when they come in here.
Doctors at the center say it's an idea that's unique to the Fairbanks area, and the money for it came from their own pockets.
You know, I mean, this is our town. These are our children. We're all fathers. We have kids. We see our neighbors' children bring them in here. I mean, you know, we know these. This is so. When we all decided about doing this, we said, you know, it's our neighborhood. These are our kids.
When you see a little one come running back to a pre-op room to see Dora or Murphy the Moose, you have to smile and think, yeah, we've done something right here.
Nikki Carvajal, News Center 11.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building. Call 456-7768.
Well, we have a lot of news and apparently sports to get to, so we'll make this short. Joe is next after the break with sports.
Hello, Interior Alaska. It's time for some Tuesday sports. I'm Joe Cook. In today's Nanette Corner, you'll see three friends originally from Northern California on the men's basketball team reunite in a place they never imagined. Here's their story.
They my best friends, you know what I'm saying? So if I could do it, they could do it. And, you know, I was basically the guinea pig, you know, so I had to come out here and test it out and see how it was. And I told them it was a good opportunity, great experience, you know. How often you gonna say you visited or went to school in Alaska? The staff, the athletic department is great. You know, the school academics is great.
When he came up here, I was shocked that he came, and then he said it was all good, and then that's how I got in contact with the coach, and then it just ended up working out for the best. Well, me and Ronnie, we started playing together in 10th grade, so I mean, we was always homies from there, and then now to play with him now is cool. I never thought I would, but it just ended up being a blessing, I guess, to now play with him.
It's a good conference. I think it's the top Division II conference in the nation. So, and them being my boys, you know, they take my word for it. I told Rashad first, he signed first, and then Joe signed a little bit after. So we took it from there.
I played against them my junior and senior year. I transferred to a city like 10 minutes away from where they lived. Played against them, battled them. They beat me all 4 years, but we kind of had a good friendship outside of the court. We used to always hang out and go out together after.
The transition-wise, them knowing each other, Ronnie there to help them, you know, when they need help, it has been great. But their transition's been good. I mean, they both like to play. They're both very good students, and they fit in very well.
All of us know already what everybody else is going to do, and I think that's a big advantage. We talk about California connections, Serbia. I think with having Andrew back, Ronnie, me, Sergey, Dallin, Mike, Stepovich, I mean, all of us know and built up some special last year. So I think coming into this season, we all going to have just one connection, not 3 or 4. So I think that's going to be on our side.
It's just crazy how things work, man. Everything happens for a reason. We 3 Northern California boys out here in Alaska just trying to make the best of the situation and win as much as possible.
Nanette Corner, brought to you by Sports Medicine Fairbanks.
And the Nanette women's basketball team is on a roll with back-to-back wins in Hawaii. On Sunday, UAF defeated Chaminade 76-60. Benisa Bulaya had 15 points to lead the Nanooks. Last night, the Nanooks held on for a 1-point win over Hawaii Hilo 62-61. The Nanooks came back from a 5-point deficit in the last 4 minutes of the game. Freshmen led the comeback. Kaylee Skijo hit a 3. Jordan Wilson, who had a team-high 16 points, hit 2 free throws, and Victoria Milton hit the eventual game winner. UAF is 4-0. Now let's take a look at this 4-0 record by the women's team and break down its significance to the program. Their average margin of victory for the first 3 wins was at least 20 points. The Nanooks are 4-0 for the first time since the 2000-2001 season, 13 years ago. They are 1 win away from matching their win total from last season. Last year, their first win wasn't until December 17th, and their first GNAC win was February 16th. So they're turning things around. They play Hawaii Hilo again tonight to wrap up their 4-game Hawaii road trip. And today at the Big Dipper, the North Pole Patriots and West Valley Wolfpack faced off on the ice this afternoon. In the first period, West Valley scores after 29 seconds. Zach Ayers with a nice move sets up Ethan Kadzal off the rebound for the goal. And then only 37 seconds later, the Wolfpack, they would strike again. Gabe Rankin crashes in after the Ethan Daniels deflected pass. And it's 2-0 West Valley. With 3 minutes left in the first, Caleb Mortz with great individual unassisted goal, going 5-hole on Allen Heineken, 3-0 West Valley. But at the 13:50 mark of the second period, Carmon Teal gets a goal off the A.J. Hubert pass for North Pole. 3-1 game, but talk about answering quickly. Kadzal got his second goal of the game 18 seconds after Teal's goal for a 4-1 advantage for the Wolfpack. Daniels scored on a power play later in the period, and West Valley led 5-1 after 2 periods, and they go on to win this one 7-1. And that's it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay warm, Alaska. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back in the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the cold forecast. It could have been a lot colder today, but we had cloud cover today. But we were expecting the clouds to lift out tonight and allow all that cold air to move in. And like I said, temperatures could get down as low as 30 below, even colder in the low-lying areas. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here's our photograph for tonight. This one's sent in by Ed Sanborn. We'll call this the missing lynx because there he is right there. Beautiful creature. Again, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And speaking of photos, we have our Fab Photo calendar out at 13 different locations around town. You can pick it up like places like Big Daddy's Barbecue. They've got them there for you. Like I said, they're all free, and they all have photographs that folks you have sent in to share with us. Okay, what's going on at the airport right now? 17 below. The temperature is falling like a rock after a high of 1 above today. The low last night, 20 below. We'll eclipse that pretty easily. Record high, 47 in 1949. What a warm day that was. In contrast, 36 below in 2011. Sunrise and sunset, 5 hours and 43 minutes of daylight. That is a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. And there's an air quality advisory in effect today through noon tomorrow. Unhealthy for sensitive groups for Fairbanks and North Pole. Moderate level for folks with respiratory problems, seniors, and children. You should avoid outdoor exposure. Here's what's going on our satellite pictures. You can see we're looking at a lot of mid-level cloudiness for the most part, and the cold air is starting to drop down from the north. You can see it at the very end of the satellite picture there. Elsewhere across the state, here's what it looks like. And we're looking at some rain falling and mixed with snow over Juneau and Ketchikan. 14 degrees at Juneau. How about that? Up and down the west coast, things are clear. The cold temperatures moving in. Barrow looking at a little light snow, and cold at Fort Yukon, 18 degrees below zero. Lower 48 weather. Last night we were talking about rain over the Pacific Northwest. It's held off for a little bit, but there's more coming. More rain across the Central Plains and elsewhere. Sunny skies over the Northeast. On our satellite and radar, you can see a little bit of energy moving across the Gulf Coast states, but look at all the moisture coming in across the Pacific Ocean, all being fed by the jet stream coming in from the north and the northwest, helping to bring in colder temperatures and a very cold situation developing here for a possible winter storm over the western half of the country later on. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. In the northern sections, snow showers for Barrow and Fort Yukon, mostly cloudy skies for Nome. Here in the interior, looking at decreasing clouds for Fairbanks, scattered snow showers for Healy, while over the southeastern sections, we'll look at partly cloudy skies for Juneau, but a chance of snow in Ketchikan. To the southwest, it looks like, for the most part, sunshine at Bethel, areas of snow for Cold Bay and Kodiak. Well, if you're heading on down to the Anchorage area, looking for partly cloudy skies for Homer, sunshine in Valdez and Anchorage. And our weather fact for tonight, for our Kids Weather Watch, in 1981, Minneapolis-St. Paul received more than a foot of snow in one day. Here's our forecast for tonight, and as you can see, we're looking at more weather facts for tomorrow. Our forecast for tonight, cold, 30 below, flurries diminishing, severe cold by morning. Tomorrow's forecast, 16 below zero, continue very frigid with partly cloudy skies. And the extended forecast, cold temperatures on Thursday, but then recovering for the weekend with overnight lows once again dropping down to the teens below zero. Daytime highs, not too uncomfortable, what they should be around this time of year. Down to 5 below on Sunday and 0 on Monday.
Okay, time to plug in the cars, people.
Yes,
Make sure
definitely.
they start in the morning, that's for sure. Okay, thank you, Mike, and we've run out of time. That will wrap up this edition of the Fbx Evening News. From all of us here, we hope you have a great evening. Good night.